home of the stars, through the airwaves and on the big screen. Coming to you live from Hollywood, it's Rated G Radio with your host, Garrett Miller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Rated G Radio. We've got a great week of programming in store for you, and we're going to kick it off. We don't usually do a Friday night dance party on a Monday, but boy, I'm going to tell you, I couldn't wait to get this guy for a Friday, and we have lucked out. It's like we did the scratcher, and we won the $1 million prize for a Monday night because Kwame Binea is joining us with his band, Kwame Binea Shakedown, and he's going to be talking about his brand new EP that is just hitting the charts right now. We're going to be playing music from that, talking to Kwame himself, and we're going to have a great time. So I'm going to bring him on in just a real quick second, but I want to give you a quick preview for the rest of the week. Tomorrow I'm going to actually be in the Huntington Beach Farmers Market from 5 until 9, and so a broadcast may be iffy, but we're going to give it a shot. Wednesday we have live from Sydney, Australia, Mr. Mark DePena. He's coming back on to do his monthly poetry reading and talk about what it's like to go surfing in the middle of winter in Sydney. Thursday we have intuitive advisor Jesse Neat out of Scottsdale, Arizona, and then on Friday we have live from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Mr. DJ David D with a 2-hour EDM set to kick off the Labor Day weekend. I'm excited to do that. I think we're going to do it in the morning if we can get that scheduled correctly. But in the meantime, I want to bring on our VIP guest superstar, Mr. Kwame Binea. Welcome to Rated G Radio. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Kat. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Okay. Now, I told you, because I got a chance to talk to you 2 seconds before the show started, I said, I refuse to talk to you because what's going to happen as soon as the show starts, I'm going to just go, I'm your number one fan. I've been, a little sneak preview. I kind of put on your song Hang On our Friday show just to kind of give people a preview for what's been going on, and I typically don't listen to the artists until the day or two before I get ready to have them on, and the phone lines lit up as soon as I put Hang On.
Oh, wow. That's awesome to hear, man. Really?
How come you've been playing that for the last 2 hours, and where's this guy been? And I said, I don't know, but he's going to be on the show Monday. So, number one, I know you're a busy guy, so appreciate you coming on. So tell me about yourself.
Absolutely.
Who are you?
Yeah, well, my name is Kwame Binea. That's short for a bunch of other West African Ghanaian last names. But I'm born in West London, raised in Ghana, and I've been living in the States, mainly in the East Coast, in New Jersey and New York area, for about 20 years now, and just kind of, living life and through music anyway, and just trying to find myself in music.
Well, I read your bio, and I have to.
Right.
I'm going to have a bunch of questions about growing up and influences and things like that because I am fascinated by you. Now, at the end of this, I want to be your best friend. So,
we can do that.
Okay. When you're growing up in Ghana, you grew up with your grandparents, it looked like, and it says this is where music became your passion. Okay, and this sounds like this is going to be a really inappropriate and dumb question for me to ask, but what influences of like Western music do you get when you live in Ghana?
Well, that's a great question, really, because you wouldn't typically think that we would get a lot of Western music, but BBC, Ghana and England are intertwined in a lot of things, and so we get the BBC radio, we get a bunch of a couple of television stations that played the Michael Jacksons of the world and the Princes and all these guys that I really started to really get into, when I first started really listening to music.
And so and you were in Ghana for a few years, but then you ended up moving over to the U.S. and you went to college over here, and your college program looked like it, jazz and contemporary music. How do you go from jazz and contemporary to the type of music that you're playing today? Because it's, I would say not related at all.
Right. They're not. Well, I went into to college to study jazz and contemporary music. Very very early in the education process, I decided to kind of leave and venture in my own right. As much as I loved it, the way it was being taught was just so, it was just so systematic, and it was just like, it didn't give me a chance to really feel the music. So I just really got a vocal coach on the side and started hanging out with some musicians, and we just started playing music, man, and then really finding myself in bands and performing, the first thing that came instinctively was really rock and roll. As funny as that sounds, I'm a blues soul guy, and you can hear it in my music, of course.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm a soul singer at heart, of course. But the rock and roll and the funk, and that really kind of came on as I kind of diverted from the the typical learning the music that in the traditional sense, and just really kind of just playing and just experiencing it, and coming to find out that was my voice, really.
So how easy was music to come to you? And I mean from a just an intrinsic learning perspective. Was it something you picked up easily, or was it something you had to work hard at?
Well, I think the actual the reading and writing music, and that I still don't read and write right now. So that was incredibly difficult for me to get into, to try to get into school and to do it that way. But the feel of music and just the interpretation, performance, really, it always came naturally to me. I mean, my first memories that are told to me by my grandparents and my uncles were, just singing and dancing, as a little guy, So I think it's just intertwined. And coming from a culture like, in West Africa, in Ghana, and music is a part of your everyday life. You wake up singing, and part of your, it's just in, I'm sure that's all over the world. Music is in all of us. There's something about, that part of the world that it's really intertwined in everything that you do. So I think that aspect of it came relatively easily, not trying to learn it and really and fine-tune the craft. And that aspect, as far as the academic way, it was really difficult for me because I had to really start from the beginning.
Well, the journey that you've taken clearly has gotten you to the point that you're at today, and I'm really thrilled that we're going to be playing 4 songs off of your new EP from the Kwame Binea Shakedown. Can you tell us about your band?
Yeah, man, my band is really my life source, man. These guys are everything to me, and then the best part about it is we're really good friends, we're brothers, and everybody that's through the band, we met organically. My guitar player and songwriting partner, Mr. Justin Wilcox, we met through a friend of a friend, coming on board, my drummer, Medley Shabazz, through bands that we played in college together, and then Art Vanderpool, through great friends, and Phil Bass was on bass for us, and then the horn section, the Kengo Yamada and Brian Wernicke, and then Darren Jonathan on keys, and David Austin on djembe. We're all guys that we kind of, New York City, kind of tri-state area, guys. I mean, they're all from all different parts of the country, but we're all kind of getting our education in life and in music in the same area, here on the East Coast. And we just all kind of mutually met through friends and really got together and began playing just really for the love of it, and as in music, as you know well, it becomes a how do we do this for a living, and immediately, but we really kind of just started playing just to kind of, as an escape and just a vibe, man. We loved it so much, and so the band came together very organically, which I loved. I believe that helps in our sound. You could feel a bunch of brothers there, not just singular musicians, going off as sometimes it gets,
Well, and when you got ready to put the EP together, Kwame, what did you? I mean, did you have any particular goals in mind before you went into the recording studio? Did you have the 4 songs picked out, or did you start with like 50 songs, like some artists do, and then whittle it down?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of that. We went into really recording a full-length album. We ended up really recording, I think, 15 songs. We'd written a whole bunch, but we really took to the studio about 50. I think it was actually 17 tunes that we felt like, if we could get, close to what we think it would be, it'd really come out really nice. And we ended up picking 15 out of them. Once we did that, we figured, hey, let's, as a new band, relatively new. I mean, we've been gigging all over New York City and the East Coast for the past 3 years, but as coming out, as putting out something for the first time, we thought it'd be best to, just give people a small sample of what we do, just to kind of wet their whistle and really come follow that with a full length album. So we went in with 17 tunes, and we came out with 15, which I think is a pretty good ratio. As most of the time, like you said, you go with 50 songs and you might come out with a few, and that's a great ratio in itself.
Well, I think that we should start off with your current single, which is "Hang On." Do you want to tell us a little bit about that before I press the play button? Because after we press play, you know what's going to happen, Kwame. The world will forever change. We're going to have converts all over the place. going to iTunes or your website to buy your music.
I love it. I'm actually headed out to your way in about a month. So hey, let's make it happen.
Oh yeah, you betcha.
So yes, absolutely. Out to the LA in September and October. We're also doing some small acoustic stuff all over the place. So me and you got to get in contact. But anyway, let me stop going off track. Hang On is a song that means a lot to us as a band and to me as a person. You know, I was very fortunate growing up to have a lot of older uncles and my grandparents around to really guide me as a young man. And I kind of now living. Trying to be an adult here, you look around, I see a lot of kids that don't have that. So, when we started writing the song, the melody came about. My songwriting partner Justin came up with a guitar melody, and I just kept thinking, hang on, something really an ode and something I'm trying to make to the younger generation, just to kind of hold on and look inside yourself, and then the answers of what you're searching in life are within you. So it's a little ode to the younger generation, young kids out there growing up to just hang on.
There we go. Everybody, this is Hang On by the Kwame Binea Shakedown. Get ready to change your world. Here it is. We'll be right back. That's Kwame Binea Shakedown with her new single called Hang On. This is a song you cannot play unless you're turning it up to like full blast and then buying an extra Amp. So super song. So when you decided to release this single, I know you had a single that was out first before this. You guys have this term, I don't know if you've trademarked it, but it's called Uptown Shakedown. What's that about?
Right. Well, the Uptown Shakedown really is the name of the band. It's so it really came about. So I live in Harlem, New York City, and of course that's Uptown New York City. So when we first started getting together and we kind of jamming and writing, we do it in my apartment here in Harlem. And neighbors would be knocking on the door. Hey, you guys got to turn it down. It's shaking up here. What's going on? What the hell's going on up there? So we were, we're coming up with a band name and a little kind of a story for ourselves. And we're like, oh man, we got to use that, man. After pissing off all our neighbors for so long, it felt only right.
There you go. There you go. So the album's out now. It's doing well. So you're still gigging in the New York area? You're coming out to L.A. and you're going to do some performances out here. Do you have plans to be touring other parts of the country, anywhere in between? Yeah,
we're actually working on a late fall tour of the Midwest and head a little bit down south from here to Cincinnati, Chicago to I think Austin and do a little bit of South Memphis, Alabama, and Georgia. So we're working all that out now. But we plan to be after the new year. We plan to be all over and just be and bringing this music and the shakedown to everybody across the country.
I can't wait. So as a writer of music, Kwame, what's your process when you get ready to sit down to write a song? Do you kind of have the melody in your head, or do you just sit down and say, I'm going to write the lyrics first? What's your process? Right.
Well, it tends to be a little bit of both. I'm very fortunate as my guitar player is my songwriting partner. So it comes in both ways. Sometimes I'll have a melody that I have in mind, or a couple of lines or something with a melody, and we'll come together and I'll sing it and he'll put something behind it. And other times, most of the time really, we'll just be sitting around jamming and we'll come up with a little lick or something and I'll do a little vocal run with it, and we'll just kind of bounce it off each other and write together. I'm very fortunate to have such a person, another person to really sit down and be creative with. It comes in both ways, really.
So you have this huge band that accompanies you here with a shakedown. Right. Do you have, obviously you enjoy that, but do you have something that you get out of performing, like acoustic sets that you like, that's a little bit different than performing with the big band, and vice versa? As a performer, what do you like better about each?
That's a great question. So, all of our songs really start out being written as acoustic, a guitar and a vocal and a melody and a vocal. So I love that. I think that stripped down acoustic vibe is really it's really intimate and special, man. It's such a different vibe, and to be able to get really to the heart of the song. Not to say the full band doesn't get to that, but I feel like when it's stripped down, you really hear some of the essence of really what's behind the song, and when it's full band, of course, that energy is something that you can't feel. I have a lot of people asking when they see us live, man, how do you get all that energy, man? You're a maniac up there, But it's really easy, man, when you have 9 or 8 or 9 great musicians behind you just thumping at it, man. You can't help it. This music kind of drives you from the back. It just hits you, and you have no choice but to move and really groove. So I love them both, and I love the energy of the full band and what that kind of almost like a out of body experience when it hits you. I love that aspect of it, but I also love the stripped down, really intimate aspect of this acoustic. You really get to hear the song and the words and really the feeling behind it. Something about it when it's stripped down, you really get to the essence and the core of the meaning behind the song.
Well, I want to see both, so I don't know how I'm going to get this figured out with a travel schedule, but I've got to see the shakedown perform, and I want to see your acoustic set when you get out here to L.A. So I have a question here for you. When you have, because we only have you for a few more minutes, because you've got all kinds of VIP superstar things that you're doing tonight, so taking time out to visit with us is greatly appreciated. I thank you for that. So,
of course, thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. Now, for social media purposes, you've got people following you all over the place, but what's your preferred method to have your fans connect with you?
Yeah, I love Facebook, and I love them all, really. I love Facebook. and I love Twitter. Just because of the frequency that people can just tell you what they feel and what they're thinking about and hit you up on it. I also love Instagram. I love YouTube. Really, we like to utilize it all, and any way that the fans can get to us, we like really. It's on what the fans like to utilize the most, and we make sure that we're there and we're available for them, to listen to our stuff or just to, see what's going on with us and all that. So, it's a new thing that, we're really grabbing a hold of and embracing really well and getting out there.
I have one more question for you, but before I get to that, Kwame, I need to let everybody know who's listening in the UK today that if you are driving, number one, don't just go back and listen to the replay. But if you're driving, don't stop and try to text this to yourself so you can do it later. But you can go to KwameBineaShakedown.com for all of the pertinent information, because I think you have all of your social media links and stuff like that on. On
we have
website.
Yes. It's all on the website, and all the social media you can reach us at Kwame Binea, KwameBinea. Really simple, at least I'd like to think so. And we're available, but on the website KwameBineaShakedown.com, you can check us out. We'll have all the links for our social media and iTunes for you to check out the songs and check them out and purchase them for yourself.
Now, do you prefer people to buy your music on iTunes or the digital download formats, or do you like people to go to your website? Do you have a preference?
Yeah. Well, not really, man. Once again, it's however way it's convenient for the fans to get it. We just make sure that we're available in all those avenues for them to check us out and pick it up.
Right. And my last question, and it really shouldn't be my last. I should have led with this, but I wrote it down and I forgot to ask you. Who do you get told that you sound like? And I think you sound just like you, but you have a powerful sound that just comes out of your band. And you must see comparisons, all the time to all the greats.
Yeah, comparisons to me are great, man. It's I know a lot of people are hesitant about that, but for me, it just lets you know that people are thinking of you in good regards, But my band, we're always getting compared to James Brown and his band, and as a singer. I'm always hearing a little bit of Hendrix, a little bit of Otis, and these guys that I love, guys that I look up to and have influenced me so much. So it's only right that it comes out of me because I've listened to these guys so much, and a lot of what I do is because of the inspiration that they've bestowed upon all of us, and I just took that and ran with it. So any of those guys that anybody wants to compare me to, man, I am all for it. I welcome and I embrace it.
Well, world, get ready. Kwame Binea Shakedown is live tonight on Rated G Radio. We've got their other single called Let Go. We're going to follow it up back to back to back. So we're going to call this a three-peat for everybody listening tonight. So we'll have Let Go, Waiting, and Little Lady. And it's been Kwame Binea. It's been a pleasure. I hope you come back often and soon. And I'd love to see you when you come out here to LA.
Shakedown, you ready?
Tonight.
Hey, man, you ready?
Thank you so much.
Drums! Welcome to the Kwame Binea Shakedown. Well, all right. Early morning, up when the sun rises. May wanna fly, I've been walking down this road, seeing the world passing me by. Though my feet are getting tired, I won't let you down. I've been waiting for so long, for my day, my time to come. I'll take my chances with these songs, 'cause I know it won't be too long. Yes, this road's been tough. Had to pick myself back from the ground, but I see the light on the other side. And yes, I know it won't be too long. I've been waiting for so long, for my day.
back with more Rated G Radio with your host, Garrett Miller.
When it comes to coffee, freshness is queen. That's why Rainbow Brew believes you should have the freshest coffee, roasted to order in small batches and delivered to your door within a couple days. Whether you're purchasing for a coffee shop, restaurant, or home, Rainbow Brew is your one-stop shop for fair trade and organic coffee. Offering many unique blends, including AM 950's own Blue State blend. That's Rainbow Brew, the Queen Bean, a proud sponsor of the Morning Grind. Online at rainbowbrew.com. Brew something good today.
So thanks to Kwame Binea and the Kwame Binea Shakedown for sharing their new EP with us. We're going to play Hold On a little bit later in the show. Why? Because it's my show and I love the song, and that's what we're going to do. And you all are freaking out about it, including Tony in New Jersey, Angela in Costa Mesa. We've got Paul in upstate New York, Eric in Mesa, Arizona. I've got Bruce in Long Beach. I've got Mark in Arkansas. I don't know the city you're in, Mark. I'm sorry. Rick is up in Hollywood. We've got Mary out of Santa Fe Springs. We've got Jeff up in Hollywood. I've got Rhonda in Salem, Oregon. I've got Tammy up in Seattle. So all of you are just going crazy over this. So thank you, Kwame, for being on the show. There we go. So we've got a bunch of stuff going on in, I say, current events or local news. So I want to cover all of that, and then we're going to go back and start playing some music. Number one, recent guest on the show, Miss Lisa S. Johnson, has a coffee table book out called 108 Rockstar Guitars. If you say, what is that all about? You're going to have to go back to the archives and listen to her interview because she was fascinating, and I loved her story. People with stories who tell good stories are great guests, and she was a spectacular guest. So Lisa S. Johnson has a book called 108 Rockstar Guitars. It's a coffee table book. You can buy the limited edition that comes with, like the super duper Cadillac of everything, and the book is like $500. No kidding. But you can get the regular coffee table edition for about $50 on Amazon, and $50 is still a lot for a book. But I will tell you, if you are a fan of good photography, I don't really think it matters the subject, because if it's good photography, you can pretty much photograph anything and be a fan of whatever the subject matter is. But you combine that with a passion for something, and I think you've hit a 1-2 punch, and that's what Lisa has done. She loves rock and roll. She loves blues. She loves people who play guitars, and she's put together this fantastic book. Again, sorry to shamelessly plug it for her, but Lisa S. Johnson's 108 Rockstar Guitars. And she's got 108 pictures and 108 stories of some of the best guitar players that the world has ever seen. She is actually doing a book signing this Thursday night in Santa Monica. That's Thursday, September 3rd from 5 to 8 p.m. at Ron Robinson. If you're anywhere near the Santa Monica area and you're a musician and or you love guitars, you have to go see her. I would go see her, except I'm doing the show, so I can't make it there and be back in time to do everything. So, Ron Robinson, here's the address, 1327 5th Street in Santa Monica, and you can RSVP to RSVP at ronrobinsoninc.com. There's going to be a guitar cake by Bree Darling. Refreshments are from Wines That Rock. There's probably going to be some alcohol there. And classic rock mix from DJ Apollo Star. So go meet Lisa. Go get an autographed copy of 108 Rockstar Guitars this Thursday, September 3rd from 5 to 8 at Ron Robinson in Santa Monica. And I think one reason that I gush over this so much is because I really don't read any longer now that I have guests on the show who are authors, because they will usually send me if you're an author and you're going to be on the show in the upcoming weeks, please take this with the respect that it's meant for, and I honor and bow to you for doing what you do. I really don't keep hardback books or paperback books of anything that anybody sends me unless it's autographed to me by the author. And that's not a request for you to be sending me books. That's not the ask at all. I would much rather get your book on a PDF so I can read it on the elliptical, or when I'm out and about, or whatever the case is, when it's convenient, and I can skim through some pages before your appearance on the show. That's my preferred way to get it, because it also, A, doesn't take up space, and B, I don't have to feel guilty about trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it if you've autographed. Because if you've autographed it, it never gets thrown away or given away or donated or anything. I keep it forever because, I don't know, I'm weird that way. And Lisa's book is one of those types of books that will be really, really worthwhile in keeping. It's going to become part of a series, I believe. So she's got a second 108 Rockstar Guitars Part 2. But the story behind why she picked 108, it's a strategic number, so you have to go and listen to that. Or go meet her this Wednesday. On Thursday, we have Mr. Mark DePina. We call him Dip. And he's going to be coming on to talk about poetry and all of that. I mentioned that at the beginning of the show, but he just pinged me on Facebook and he says, I'm listening to the show. So Dip is listening live from Sydney, and I appreciate him being on our Wednesday. It's actually Thursday afternoon, his time, but it's our Wednesday night show. So thank you for that. So that's number one. Okay, let's get down to we're going down the list, folks. Okay, I want to send a big shout out to Dennis Hensley and the Mismatch Game for their fundraising activity over Saturday and Sunday at the LGBT Center to benefit homeless youth. They raised over $5,000 and put on two great shows, one on Saturday night and one on Sunday night. I went to the show last night. This is my second opportunity to go see Dennis conduct the show. If you're saying, what's the Mismatch Game? Do you ever remember back in the 70s how they had the match game with Gene Rayburn with that like 3-foot-long microphone, and he used to have like all the quasi, older aging out celebrities, Charles Nelson Riley, and you had all these people, and, you'd see some of the shows and they'd look very coherent, and then other shows, they look like they're completely trashed. Well, they used to film several shows a day, and they'd drink throughout the entire, the filming of this. So usually by the time you'd film the third or fourth or fifth episode, they're completely wasted. And their answers got funnier and funnier. Well, they have 6 celebrity impersonators show up, and last night was no exception. They had people impersonating Jack Nicholson, B. Arthur, Pamela Anderson, Bill Cosby, Danny Bonaducci, and Tanya Roberts from Charlie's Angels. It was hysterical. And I got to be a contestant. Now, if you remember, Dennis does this twice a year, and last time was my first, not last night, but last time, earlier this year, it was my first time to actually go and be part of, the audience. Well, they called my name, and I got to be a contestant, and on the history of the Mismatch Game, which he's done for years, I answered the most matches to these celebrity, people that were answering questions. I had like 9. Never has ever happened, ever before. So that I thought, if I get picked again, that would be really cool. Well, I got picked again last night. I think I should have went out and bought a lottery ticket last night, but I'm glad I didn't, because I matched 0 answers on both rounds of questioning. And I will tell you, the questions were really, really hard this time compared to when I was on the show last time. And you could. And by the way, it's not a child-friendly environment, meaning the answers and language is sometimes of an adult nature. So I can't really tell you some of the things that I'd said for my answers. But I thought, boy, I've got this completely nailed down, and I was just completely way off base. And the interesting thing was, even though I got 0 matches, none of the other 6, celebrity lookalikes answered the same way either on either round. So I would have had 12 completely different answers out of the the 2 rounds of questioning that I had. So really cool time. I did get a nice little gift bag. I will tell you, I got some, what do you call them? The fish fish that you eat, the fish crackers. They're not fish flavored crackers, but they're like Cheez-Its, except they're goldfish. That's what they're called. I got goldfish. I got some thank you notes, and I got something else. Food I don't really eat, but they're snacks, and I'll have them available to give to people when they come over or something like that. But totally fun time. And I got to hang out with my dear friends Joe Mueller, Pat Tobin, and Bruce Hart, and all accomplished in the entertainment industry or otherwise in many major capacities. So it was great that they let me kind of tag along. I said tag along. I met them at a restaurant before the show, and then went to the show, and we hung out, and we got one really cool picture. You know me, I always take my good camera. And everybody thinks, oh, God, he's lugging his camera again. Doesn't he ever go anywhere without it? Now, they all think that until they want to get a good picture. And then it's like, Garrett, can you come over here and take our picture, please? Because you have the good camera. So out of 200 people, they're all snapping their pictures with iPhones and stuff like that. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but the pictures look like you took it on an iPhone. But I lug my big 35-millimeter camera with a big flash on it, and I, because autofocus, you can really not screw it up, because I can I can also reframe the picture as long as you get the bodies in the picture. I can reframe it once it's done in Photoshop and kind of get that stuff figured out. But it was per usual. Does anybody have a camera? Of course, I brought my camera along, and that's when they're all going, I'm so glad you brought your camera along. Until next time. And then they're like, oh, my God, he brought his camera again, until they want a picture. So there we go. But I got a great picture with Bruce, Joe, and Pat, and thank you very much for letting me do that. So that's that. Tonight, here in Huntington Beach, I'm looking for this post that I have on my Facebook page somewhere. Here it is. Is it here? Okay, there we go. It's not. Oh, here it is. I have to go down far enough. Sorry, nothing like keeping your entire set list that you're going to talk about on Facebook, and you just go one by one by one, but you got so many things that are on here that you kind of miss out. So, by the way, I want to tell Tony in Hackensack, I did go up to Drew Droege after the show and introduce myself. He only took like 17 hours after the show was over to get his ass out of the theater. We were like the last people there waiting for him to finally come out. But I went up and made a point of saying, Tony G wants me to say hello to you. And so he says, oh, my gosh, Tony G. So it was great. So thanks for that, Tony. Appreciate it. Tonight in Huntington Beach, after the show, I've got an hour. I don't know if I'm going to actually do this, but it's a really cool idea. If you are in Huntington Beach, I'm going to encourage you to do this. You can also go to my Facebook page to actually see that I'm not like making this up. The Huntington Beach Police Department is having what they call coffee and conversation at the 7-Eleven at 6010 Warner Avenue from 9 to 11 p.m. Again, coffee and conversation with the Huntington Beach Police Department at the 7-Eleven at 6010 Warner Avenue tonight from 9 to 11 p.m. Now, I love when I saw this, because I'm a fan of theirs, or I follow their Facebook stuff. It says, no agenda or speeches, just a chance to ask questions, voice concerns, and get to know the officers in your neighborhood. That's all it is. And I thought, what a nice way to do like a neighborhood outreach program for the community. Because, I really think sometimes the law enforcement people get a bad rap. Are there bad people out there? There are bad people in everything we do everywhere. You can pick the industry. It doesn't really matter. You're going to find your bad nuts in all of them. But the majority of the people in every profession really are good people, and in this case, fantastic public servants. I've had a chance to meet a couple of the fine officers, doing neighborhood stuff. We had a little vandalism here at the house last year where people got a hold of a caulking gun and decided to write an ethnic slur using the caulking gun against the laundry room outside. So we called the police department and filed a formal complaint just so it's on record, and then we scraped it off and had it painted and got it taken care of. But the officers are so nice and friendly, and they just have such a real genuine concern for their community, so I always appreciate that. But it was nice to see. I mean, how many times do you see coffee with a cop? I thought that was brilliant. How many times are you ever going to see something like that? So hats off to the Huntington Beach Police Department tonight again. Coffee and conversation, 9 to 11 p.m. at the 7-Eleven at 6010 Warner Avenue. So hope you get a chance to go do that. Let's see, what else? There's so much that was going on this weekend. I had a chance on Saturday to be a guest on about 70% of the show for Out in Santa Cruz, KSCO 1080 AM. They do a 7 p.m. broadcast. You'll have Rob and Steph as your hosts, and they had me on to talk about Blonde Jesus and some of the stuff that went on to make the record and some of the meanings behind some of the songs. If you get a chance to go back and check that out, you can. I always like it's so much different being on the other end of the microphone, even though I do this 5 nights a week. Sometimes even if you're expecting the question or, you think, oh, I've got the answer in my head, I've said it a million times, I can do it. Sometimes the answer comes out completely different than what you actually thought. And I think a couple of my answers did that on Saturday. So I want to send thanks to, Rob and Steph for being a guest on Out in Santa Cruz. I'll also let you know they're going to have me back in October to talk about the Witch Sisters Halloween. So I can't wait for that. I've also got a new music video that is coming out for the Witch Sisters Halloween that I will be releasing probably in the next week or so. I had originally thought, and I'm going to tell you some inside stuff here, folks. I was originally going to go down the path of getting everybody's picture, kind of like what we did with the gay wedding, and try to put together a video montage and do all this work. And a friend of mine said, "That's really great, but you don't want to be known as the guy who, it's the homemade video guy." And I went, "Oh, that's kind of a good point." And so in the same breath, my friend sent over a link to a company that they were not affiliated with, but they knew of, that does lyric videos. And I was really looking for something kind of fun, but not I don't say not too visual. And I say that only because I've got an idea for a movie or TV movie or something like that for the song to be converted to. And I wanted to make sure that if I put visuals out there that it wouldn't, I would say, confuse the marketplace, but it didn't leave lasting images of the song when I get ready to do something else with it visually, so people don't have a comparison. So doing this lyric video, this company's working on it right now. Super excited to share it with you, and it'll be up on my official YouTube channel, and that will be broadcasting now, and I'll be, hounding it between now and, November 1st. And then, of course, it'll switch to, guess what, it's Christmas time, so I can't wait to do that with you as well. A couple other things. Okay, now if you are friends with me on Facebook, and if you're not, why aren't you? You should be, because I post really cool stuff. If you are a friend of mine on Facebook, I'm going to encourage you to go to my wall. I posted this Sunday. My friend Marjorie posted this, and it's an hysterical. It's a video, and if people left parties like they leave Facebook, because we've all had friends, or we've seen, well, maybe not friends, but you know how Facebook, I've got 3,100 friends on Facebook, okay? I'd like that number to be 5,000 and growing, so if you want to friend me, please friend me. I'm fun. But you've seen the post. I've just had it with Facebook. I just can't, I blah, 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 I'm only going to, the speech. But to spare that and to let you enjoy the video that is on my Facebook page, you've got to go there and then watch the video. It's called, the group who puts it together is called College Humor, and so they have their own YouTube channel. But it's hysterical. They skewer people who can't leave Facebook without a bunch of melodramatic drivel. I think that sums it up perfectly. Okay, so there you go. And let me see, the last, I want to say, I want to thank again Alan James for being the guest on the Friday Night Dance Party this past Friday. His album Doors of Summer, really love it. And I don't mean to be such a musical mark for these guests who are coming on. And by that I mean I don't mean to be going, oh my God, I just love you so much, I want to be the president of your fan club. These artists that are coming on, their music is just so spectacular. I can't help but kind of be gushy over the fact that they're these magnificent musicians. So, if they were just like ho-hum or whatever, you're like, yeah, it's really nice, Kwame. Super job on, what was that song? I got to look it up again. I can't even remember. That'd be if I didn't really like their music. But if I love their music, I genuinely am putting it on my iPad. I'm putting it in the car. I'm cranking up the tunes as I'm driving up the 405 to L.A. to whatever Hollywood thing that I'm going to. And that's what I did with Alan James's Doors to Somewhere. So as I always say, please make sure to support independent music and musicians wherever and whenever you can. It sounds silly to say, but when you buy one of their albums on iTunes, that helps pay a light bill or puts food on a table or pays a rent check or puts gas in a car so they can go to their next gig so they can continue living their passion. And, it's great when you download Miley Cyrus or, Billy Ray Cyrus or Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber or any of those folks. But, quite frankly, folks, their empires of music don't really need the money. And I think we're missing out on some really spectacular artists like Kwame Binea Shakedown or Alan James, Doors to Somewhere. That's just my little 2 cents worth. And, there we go. And last but not least, an article was put out over the weekend, but it's by rreverb.com. So it's not just reverb.com, it's rreverb.com, but it's like double R, not A-R-E, it's rreverb.com. And it's for my dear friend Chip Schutzman. It says, I look at the pop machines as a music business. He's got a great feature article that's written about him. If you are interested in music, as most of you are, or are interested in the music business. I think that's really the more operative question. I think Chip is a great study for anybody who wants to get an idea of what a visionary and creative thinker really is all about. And I am a big fan of Chip and all of his amazing success that he's had. But the artists that he works with, it would just like knock your socks off. And the things that he is currently doing with his artists would knock your socks off as well. But he will have to tell you that story himself. Maybe one of these days we'll have him on as a guest. He's not to give away his entire bio, but he started his career at like 12, working in the radio stations at 5 a.m. and then he would go to school afterwards. I mean, who goes and does radio at 5 a.m. and then at 12, and then they go to school afterwards? Chip did. So we've got to have him on and talk about that. With all of that, my friends, the time has come to say goodbye. I want to go MICKEYMOUSE, Mickey Mouse. But it's not the Mickey Mouse Show. It's the Rated G Radio Show. If you like what you hear, number one, share the show with your friends and your family. Follow the show on Rated G Radio. If you're listening across the pond on Westar Radio Network tonight, number one, thank you very much. Call into the station and tell them more. But you can also download Rated G Radio as a podcast on iTunes. It's free. You can get all of the episodes. I think there's 750 some odd episodes for you to download. That might be a little overkill. It could be that you just have a slow weekend. I don't know. But regardless, I want to make sure you know that I love it when you are listening in. If there's a guest that you want to hear, or a song you want to hear, or a musician or something like that, send me a note on Facebook. Or you can email me at garrett@garrettmiller.com and say, I loved your show. You got to say that first, because then I'll listen to you. I loved your show, Garrett. It was just fascinating. And then I would really like to have so-and-so on. Well, then I'll get to work in getting so-and-so on the show, and we'll make it happen. But with that, let's get back to some cool music to wrap up the show. Mr. Kwame Binea Shakedown with Hang On. We'll see you. You notice I'm going to say, see you live on Wednesday. I'm not doing a show tomorrow. I'm going to go to the Huntington Beach Farmers Market tomorrow night instead. So enjoy your night off, and we'll see you live on Wednesday. Thanks, Dip, for tuning in. We'll have you with your poetry Wednesday night.
Do you look to the stars when times get
You've been listening to Rated G Radio.